Well, roll call.
Okay, Hutnick,
Here.
Poznanski, St. Laurent,
Here.
Murdoch, Stevens,
Here.
Van Wormer,
Here.
Lee,
Here.
Oswald.
Here. Okay, I need approval of the agenda. Oh, I was going by this one. Oh, are we doing this first? We do the pledge and then we'll do this. How about that?
Oh,
See, we have this agenda.
so this is our pre,
The informational meeting
this is the
agenda.
informational
meeting.
meeting first,
Yeah.
okay, I got you.
Okay, got it? Okay. All right, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay,
I second.
second. All right.
Okay,
Do we need to do an all in favor?
Take
What's
a
that?
roll on
Do you want to do a roll call on?
Or all in favor, whatever?
to approve
For
the
the-
agenda. We have
yeah.
a motion and a second.
all in
All in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so we have our 2025 impact report, kind of just building off of what we presented mid-year. I have been using this report not only just to report to the state and to the board, but also for business recruitment. And going forward, I feel like this is going to be a good resource for us to go after private funding and donors. So I kind of just keep building on it, and any suggestions you guys have for the future additions, let me know. So the first couple of pages just go over our mission, our story, our 5-year strategy, our vision, and our TIF plan, so that people can kind of get an idea of what the direction that we're going and where we're headed. We also highlight our historic downtown Romeo, our boundary map, so it kind of gives a visual to people, just let them know. I think a lot of times people think downtown goes further than it actually does, right? So it's a good visual, along with just some historical information about our village. The next 2 pages are really driven towards that business recruitment strategy, highlighting who we are, what we have to offer, kind of some high demand businesses so that people can be aware of what we're looking to add to our downtown. And then just a pitch, right? Why Romeo? It goes through and says, what we're known for, who our typical shoppers are, and that sort of thing. The next couple of pages just highlight our projects and beautification efforts downtown last year. We did issue 2 facade grants for signage. We had 8 new businesses or expanding businesses, and we were able to help 3 businesses secure grant funding through other sources as well, like Velocity, small business resources. We now have 2 major infrastructure projects that are shovel-ready. I just received a couple of additional quotes for signage to complete that wayfinding cost analysis. So we are ready, we're shovel-ready to go after funding for those 2. Along with 1 minor project that is shovel-ready, that's the art mural, and 3 minor projects that are in development for this year. So we're truly in a place to rapidly see the fruits of our planning, right, this year in 2026. We also kept our downtown alive with the flowers and the fall decor and the holiday lights, and I have to say, I get compliments all the time. Our vendors are doing a really, really good job, and I was very happy with the work they did. The next 2 pages go over some highlights of our visitor attraction strategy. So we met with Crimson. They gave us a visitor attraction strategy to follow is in regards to our marketing and advertising. So we came up with a story that we've been using in all of our advertising and publications. We had many events that happened downtown that were very successful and vibrant and kept us very busy. So Adding to that visitor attraction, we have some data to look at that's really exciting, and this is going to really help us navigate how to use our funds going forward. When we talk about how do we increase economic development, how do we have growth, how do we drive more visitors to downtown? And this data gives us a good indication of how our social media dollars are doing, right? So the top graph will show you where we were in January last year and how we ended up the year. As you can see, it's night and day. We made some changes to our vendors. We also changed our strategy. We made sure that our content was engaging, that it was varied, and that it was consistent. So we posted at least 10 posts a month, but I would say 20 with my efforts too. So we just doubled down on that. At the same time, we were able to cut costs by 50%. So we're now saving almost $20,000 a year on that front that we can now put towards future infrastructure, right? We incorporated several micro events throughout the summer. And if you look at the bottom two graphs, just with our strategy going forward, you can see we were kind of on like life support. And then the bottom graph shows you just how active our viewership was, our followers were. We actually more than doubled our views on our social media content this past year. So it's really exciting information that we can share with our businesses too and let them know, hey, this is what worked for us. This can work for you too, right? We also incorporated paid ads for the first time. And we went through this at mid-year. This was an example of the sidewalk sale where we invested $100 in paid ads and we gained 500 new followers. Those numbers make sense, right? That makes sense to continue to do that strategy. So the next page is going to show you the events that we had, and I'm a numbers person. I love to see this kind of data because it tells us, look, what's working, what's not working, right? So I was shocked to see in the top 5, right? We've got Peach Festival as a no-brainer, 4 of the top 5, but our brand new Witches and Warlock event for the first time, having that event was in the top 5. It was number 4. And that was with 0 paid advertising. So that just indicates, look, we're onto something that the community likes. They want it. It's at the right time of the year. And so maybe we put more towards advertising next year and something like that.
What is that second column? There's date and then out of market.
That's the number of visitors.
Visitors.
What does it say though? Out of market?
Oh, out of market visitors.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry.
So if you go down the list, you can also see some other takeaways that are really promising. On October 18th, we had Naturally Tilson's going, and we had said, how do we draw that crowd off of Tilson Street and bring them downtown? So we incorporated the Monsters on Main decorating contest. I know our merchants are also having their own open houses. And by stacking things like that, we were able to achieve one of our highest visitor days with very little investment. So that tells me that's a great strategy and we should do more of that next year.
Can I ask just a question?
Uh-huh.
So the out of market, this is a number of, this is related to our social media, correct?
No, these are boots on the ground.
So this is off of actual physical people in the area?
Yeah.
I got you, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the amounts that are investment amounts is everything incorporated under that,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be advertising, posters, whatever?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I provided, this is basically the top 50 days of last year. So in my opinion, anything in these 2 columns is a good investment, right? I think that once we go through the ROI numbers, we'll be able to see some more strategies that we can dig into. Another highlight for me that when I look at this list is the sidewalk sale. Again, I mean, it's in the top 20, and it was so little effort, right? We used the $100, we made a big impact. We had it at a good time where people were coming and drew more. So shocking, right?
And what's our average number, like an average day? What would
Our baseline visitors is between 3,700 and 4,200.
okay,
That's an average day. Mhm. So on the next page, basically, what I wanted to do was dive into each event. How much did we spend? What was the outcome? How many visitors did we have? Just to make sure that we are using our dollars in the right place, right? And the good news is everything that we sponsored, supported, promoted, did very, very well. The numbers speak for themselves. What's working best are the seasonal and themed events, fall, holiday, Halloween, and boutique and niche events, right? So Ladies' Night Out, Golden Girls Day, Art and Wine Walk. Also multi-day activations. That's something that we can consider going forward too, right? Maybe making an event not just a Friday, but a Friday, Saturday. And this is all information I will share with the organizers of these events so that they have this insight and they can double down on things that work. Opportunities that I see, it's specifically like Vintage Fest, right? That was our most invested event, and it did well, but it could do much better. And I think maybe next year we take half of that investment and we do some paid advertising, we do some promotion. We do what we do best, right? We have the followers, let's put it to use. And hopefully Vintage Fest is in that top 5 where it should be. Bottom line, the DDA investments consistently generate exceptional returns. Most events delivering out-of-market visitors at cost of under 25 cents per visitor. The efforts significantly exceed baseline visitation levels, and they demonstrate that our strategy is working. All right. So the next 2 pages are basically just a list of all of our goals and direction for 2025. These are all task and action items that I had based on our 5-year strategy. The first half of the year was really focused on our technology, our systems, our processes, so that we could get a good foundation and so that we go into this year and we're able to scale quickly. We're able to communicate at a drop of a dime. We can hit all of our businesses. Our data is intact. So that was a big focus on the first half of the year. The second half of the year was just, that visitor attraction strategy, getting people downtown, making sure that our beautification efforts were successful, and just a lot going on. The next 2 pages go over just a highlight of our approved budget, of what that looks like, our goal for the next 5 years, and how to increase that revenue to that 500,000 mark that we all have our eyes set on, along with our goals from last year. So at the beginning of the year, we got together as a group and we said, okay, what are our goals for 2025? One was to increase our projects, our major and minor projects, get projects that are shovel-ready so that we can take advantage of opportunities as they come up. We also wanted our annual income to increase, so find ways to free up money, make money. Increase in visitors and increase in visit duration. How long are people staying downtown, right? So through our KPIs and measuring, we were able to meet all of our goals. We have 2 major projects that are shovel-ready, 3 minor projects in development. Our projected increase of revenue is $20,000, and our projected cost reduction is almost another $20,000. We also had a 4.9% increase in visitors, so we actually went over the 1 million mark. And we increased the average visit duration from 60 minutes to 81 minutes. So we crushed our goals last year. And the last page is just the basic, where we're starting from today and where what we are trying to to tackle next. I think a lot of the time spent the first half of 2026 will be on those funding opportunities, whether it's through grants, whether it's private funding, donations. That's going to be a big focus. And just getting ready for the next event season too, making sure that we take advantage of what worked and double down on that. Any questions?
Good job.
Yeah, this looks
Beautiful.
great. This,
Well, good job to all of you, because without you and your vision and your passion, we couldn't do this. So I appreciate you guys. And it's exciting, and I've seen such a positive change on Main Street, just with the conversations that I have and the people on the street, and it's good. It feels good, yeah.
well, just continuing on with what this board has been doing over the last, how many, 4 years, but really just the last 2 and the last year, how different it is. The work is paying off.
That's good. I have a question. On the,
Yeah.
and I know we don't have a lot of open spaces, which is a good problem to have, but have we, as far as business attraction, have we identified any specific businesses outside of Romeo that we are communicating with to bring to town? You know, maybe as a relocation or a second location. Again, we don't have a whole lot of space, but there's a couple out there that,
Oh, yeah.
you know, if we can get filled, I was just wondering if we have anything in that.
Yeah, I actually visit other downtowns and have had conversations with the owners about multiple locations. I think that's the low-hanging fruit. And the thing is everybody I talk to, they jump right on it. And I'm like, but we don't have space right now. But I am building a database so that we are ready. And hopefully this year, by having more conversations with the building owners, we can get in front of tenants that are vacating or leases that are expiring, and we can have those folks ready for conversations before those happen.
And then another thing, just kind of with that, because again, retail-wise, it's limited, which again is a good issue. But I'm wondering if we should also be looking at filling, or helping fill, obviously we don't have 100% control over it, but helping with the, you know, secondary, the upstairs, the office space, because that's, obviously it's gonna help the building owners. If
Yeah.
they've got a small office that maybe a CPA wants to move into, or any sort of, you know, non-retail, and then, you know, it'll just help benefit, it gets more people downtown, that's more people
Yeah.
going to our restaurants for lunch, eating, shopping in town, so maybe looking at some of those, what do we have open as far as maybe not retail space, but
Yeah,
a lot of great office space that we can help find some people to move into.
I think that's amazing, and I would love to have those conversations, yeah, for sure,
Cool. This is great, thank you.
yeah.
Any other comments?
The only other thing, informational-wise, you guys will notice that I have binders for each of you that we're going to keep here for each meeting. I think this is gonna go a long way in helping us discuss at the table, to reference our master plan, our strategy, our policies, our procedures. I put in there a cheat sheet for Robert's Rule of Order. Feel free to take that home if you want, because it is a lot of reading, and if you want to, you know, get a refresher. But every single thing we going forward on our extended agenda, I am going to try to mention what this supports, what pages, so that we have quick reference when we're having these discussions. And I'll do the same for new business items, right? If I'm bringing something to the table that I want you guys to vote on, then you need to know that it's supported by our strategy and our master plan,
That's great.
and also that our budgeted line item has the money. So these are the things that I'm trying to do just to make us have a more cohesive meeting, and
Don't get caught in the weeds so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I love this. This is awesome.
yeah.
Thank you.
One
And
quick
that's-
question under the big picture performance. Listed for each of these is the TDA investment, but where does that dollar figure, is that just for marketing, or is that any like incidentals?
So depending on what type of sponsorship we did, if we did a sponsorship, it would have been, here's just a big check that they're gonna use towards their cost.
Sure.
Or we did a micro sponsorship where we did a little bit of money for advertising and a little bit of money for collateral. So
Okay.
printed materials, wristbands, whatever it would have been to support the event.
And then for Witches and Warlocks, we're not including the $1,800 for t-shirts in that investment?
No, the $1,800 actually, I categorize that under community promotions, because the DDA used that to generate revenue for the DDA, and
Okay.
it was our logo on the merch. So that was something that I did through the DDA. It wasn't necessarily to cover a cost.
Okay, thanks.
What did we make on our t-shirts?
Almost 1,800.
So we broke even.
Yeah, we broke even,
Okay.
so.
So that's something we just need to think about next year.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be a moneymaker for us?
Yeah.
Or if it's just breaking even?
I know, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to have our logo out there in a creative way. I love how the design came out with the Halloween, and
Yeah.
they're out on the street advertising for us, right? So I call it a win. Could we do better next year by making a less expensive shirt? That's probably the first thing I would do, but, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then the solid dollar amounts, like Art and Wine, Christmas, Vintage Fest, is where we literally gave the $1,000 and
Yeah.
we spent it to the, whatever they were required. Okay,
Yep.
Okay.
sounds good.
Anyone else? Any more comments? Okay. A motion to adjourn?
We have board member comments. Is that everything?
Yeah. A motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion. to
Okay.
adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's move on to a regular meeting and roll call, Kate?
Mhm. Okay, Hutnick,
Here.
Poznanski, St. Laurent,
Here.
Murdoch, Stevens,
Here.
Van Wormer,
Here.
Lee,
Here.
Oswald.
Here. Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. And can we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So if I have a change on there, I have to wait until,
You would make it with your,
You can make that change and say with that.
yeah.
oh, okay.
What we got?
So what am I doing?
Do you have a change?
Are you
Yes,
making the
you know
change?
what? The public, yes, I need to make it public, oh my goodness.
Is it for the spotlight?
Yes,
Okay.
they had to cancel at the last minute,
Okay,
so that needs to be removed.
Yep.
okay. so
Thank
no-
you.
Okay, no
So
spotlight.
motion to approve removing,
The business spotlight,
Okay, got
yes.
it.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, and who made that motion?
Marty.
I did.
Marty, okay. All right, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, let's move on to approval of the minutes for December 1st, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, and is there a second?
Support.
Support? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Now we're going to move on to public forum. This is your opportunity, if you'd like to come up to the podium and share anything with us. Anybody? Okay, all All right, we'll move on to the financial report. Okay,
Yes. Okay, so I did a mid-year budget review to kind of see where we are in terms of how we're doing and any items that we may want to amend at mid-year. So overall, the DDA is in a very strong financial position mid-year, with revenues outperforming expenses and a substantial positive change in the fund balance. Our fund balance is currently $327,677.46. Our revenue collected to date is 76% of our annual budget halfway through the fiscal year. Key highlights are our interest income has exceeded last year and is tracking to do very well. That obviously comes with the addition of the MI class account, as well as community promotions revenue that we've added that was new from last year. Our expenditure management, our total expenditures year-to-date is $106,143.15. Our annual budget is $277,751. So right now, we are at 38% of our total budget spent at 50% mid-year. I did receive the packet for December from Plant Moran. Our total deposits for Tri-County Bank were $167,271.04. That includes interest income of $283.12, and our TIFA revenue of $166,987.92. We had no revenue for the people-driven marketing account in December. Bills presented for approval for Tri-County Bank were $15,790.62, and bills presented for people-driven marketing was $250. That was for the mitttv Peach Fest ad. We have a year-to-date of interest income in MI class of $726.10, and that balance is $250,826.10 to date. Any questions?
I have a couple. So the people-driven marketing for 250, what was that for?
It was for the Peach Fest ad in the Peach Fest magazine for downtown.
Okay, and then where does that come out of?
That came out of community promotions.
Okay. So community promotions, and correct me if I'm reading this incorrectly, we budgeted 3,000, but we spent 6,907.
Yes.
So where did we overspend on these items? And did we have board approval to do each of those items?
The only thing that we did not have board approval on was the Witches of Morlock community, t-shirts. That was the 1,800, and that was my mistake that we addressed back in October.
Right, yeah.
And as far as the overspend, we have to keep an account that we also added 5,000 in revenue under community promotions. So we now have $5,000 that we will probably want to amend at mid-year to add into this line item.
So can we get a breakdown of what that $6,907.40 is under community promotions?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
So when did we make the decision that, like, for example, the t-shirts were no longer under CBD events, but now was a community promotion? Like, how did that come about?
Well, I think it should be under community promotions just because we made the revenue and it didn't cover cost of the event in any way. Initially, I had it tagged under that, as
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But then when I went back this past month and I went back the whole year to make sure that everything was categorized where it should be,
Right.
that is where I feel like that should be under community promotions because it did not directly cover any of the event cost or promotion. I mean, we could move it there if that's where the board wants it. We have plenty of money in that line item.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to follow the,
Mm-hmm.
my questions from October
Yeah.
and follow it through. And that was, I'm expecting our CBD events actual
Mhm.
to be $5,337.83
Yeah,
based on information that was provided,
Yeah.
and it's 2,500. So I'm just trying to understand where all this
Yeah.
stuff is then,
Mhm.
and when,
so
I just
that-
don't remember seeing community promotions before, so when did we create that line item?
It's been on our budget,
Okay, I'm just looking, I don't see it in the last one, so I was just trying to find it.
yeah. And like I said, back in October, when I got the emails asking for the breakdown, I
Yeah.
did that manually.
Right.
At that time, I had not connected the QuickBooks
Sure.
to the bank account, and so I couldn't do it through technology.
Right.
Once I went back and I corrected all of that and made sure everything had a tag and everything was categorized, then we were able to run the reporting through technology, and this is what the numbers are.
Okay.
Is there any way, this is just being picky, that we can make it bigger?
Yeah.
Well, I had a magnifying glass.
I was literally thinking, is there
I
any
know.
Danielle, we have old eyes.
Yeah.
Well, hi, everybody. My name's Danielle Kelly. I work with Plant Moran. I oversee Riley Reed, who does the reporting and signs her name to the memo. So, yes. So one thing I did want to talk to you guys about today is I did watch the meeting from December 1st, and I think we've addressed most of the questions. We can get the breakdown of community promotions in that account, so you can see exactly what payees are paid out of that account. And then the micro projects for CBD events, you can see, I think what happened there is that it got, within QuickBooks, it's considered a sub-account, so when it got coded, it threw it under the CBD events code instead of staying in the projects code. So we renamed it so it stuck out to you guys to show that we didn't just increase CBD events by $5,000. The $5,000 was originally budgeted as a CBD project line.
Which one, do you know?
That's the thing.
It was just
It was a broad category that was added into the budget
'Cause
for
when I-
$5,000 for CBD projects at the end of the
Yeah,
budget
when I go
session.
back through the meeting packets, the total that I see from like our original approved budget was like $10,285 or something for that chunk of CBD events. So I don't, and then all of a sudden, like November, then the $5,000 was there. So I'm just confused on where it came from.
So again, so if you look at the projects line, there's $25,000 in the original budget for projects. $20,000 was for general projects, $5,000 was for CBD projects specifically.
Okay.
So then when we were going through and kind of fixing the accounting numbers, so like the CBD items to go within the CBD category, it took that $5,000 and it threw it under the CBD account code, so to speak. But actually it's still $5,000 in its own account for CBD projects. QuickBooks moves things around when you try to change it.
And the 5,000, just to be clear, for projects, that's for micro projects. So we put that there in case we wanted to do bike racks, or we wanted to do the art mural, or we wanted to, so that's what the plan is for that money, or was for that money, we haven't spent it yet.
Well, so here's my question. I get what you're saying. I understand that part of it. So if those micro projects are for those sorts of things, the 405 that we spent, what did that go to under micro projects?
405,
There's $405 spent under micro projects.
I'll have to look it up, I'm not sure. It was probably something that happened a few months ago, but,
I can see if I can get into look.
yeah, maybe you can
Sorry,
pull it
losing
up.
my voice. Get
And
into
then
look.
I guess my question is, and maybe I'm just not looking at it right, you know what I mean, like I just gotta wrap my head around it, but, so how is community promotions, the items that are going under community promotions, that we've identified $3,000 in the budget for community promotions. what is the expectation of what those community promotions are compared to CBD events, compared to CBD micro projects? So my first thought looking at this is those CBD promotions were over budget by almost 4,000. But what are those line items, and are they a true promotional item of the community, or did they promote an event within the community? Because if they promoted an event within the community,
Yeah, no, so when I was categorizing things, if it was to promote a specific event, it went under CBD events. If it was something that promoted the downtown in general, then it went under community promotions. So like the ad that we put in the chamber directory, the
Okay.
ad we put in any magazine advertisement we did, the T-shirts when we did our swag for the store, the pop-up store, that was $3,000, that was community promotion. What I would love to see this year, and we're probably not gonna spend our event budget, is to maybe move some of those funds to community promotion and use some paid ads to promote Valentine's Day or date night downtown. I would love to see that, because we're going into a time of year that we need the help. Our merchants need people coming downtown. We don't have any events scheduled, no one has anything planned. So I would love to see you guys approve something like that.
so, and I don't disagree with you, I agree on that. So I guess what I'd like to see is what that 405 is. I know it's a small amount, but just curious what went under micro projects.
You got it?
And
What
then
is
that,
it?
It's MGM dumpster. It was back in October.
Oh, that was the storage clean out.
So,
Oh, yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so
okay.
it got labeled as a micro project
Yeah,
because it
which
was
is
a-
what it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's understandable. And then under community promotions, that 6,907.40, can we get a breakdown
Yeah.
of what those are? Because I'm wondering if any of those, if they're in any way connected to an event, should they be moved under CBD events?
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, because it's just a journal entry to reclass it where you
Yeah.
believe it should be.
So you can prepare that for us? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
No problem. So then in terms of the reporting, so I know there was some talk about how the reports are confusing. I know they're small. So just to give, I know a lot of you have been on the board for a while, but to give a little history. So we were asked to help take over the reporting in August of 2022 from the previous accountant. And so all of these reports are canned reports that we were told, these are the reports we want to see, this is how they should look. So that's what we've been doing ever since. So it's great to get some feedback from you guys of what you actually want to see, because this was simply we had to like meet her at like 6 o'clock at night, learn to do the reports, and then she was gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was no, there was no talking to the board and getting this kind of feedback. So I know the transaction listing is small. That's how it comes out of QuickBooks. We can delete some of the columns, but I guess if you could tell us, like, what columns do you want deleted? Or do you want that to look completely different? Or is there
I
some
just-
kind of report you'd like to see? Because we can look in QuickBooks and see if we can get
If
some kind
they
of
have
report.
some, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to be clear too, I don't think there was any custom reporting that, I was asking for. There was just a column that was blanked for payee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was
we-
all I
we
was asking
figured- We
for.
figured that out.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I didn't have a problem. I don't think they're confusing. There's a lot of numbers here.
Yeah.
But it's black and white. I mean, this column should add up to that column, you know, so from that standpoint, I don't have any issues.
No, and I mean, even the small print, I can open it up on my laptop. and make
I know,
bigger.
but still, it drives
So,
me nuts
yeah,
too.
but-
No, it drives me crazy.
Yeah,
When I
so,
go to review it, I'm zooming in
yeah.
on it.
I guess
Yeah.
one of my questions, and I guess this is where I'm struggling a little bit, is this overage for community promotions. I definitely want to see what is in there, what has been coded to that. And then just make sure that the board is a part of, if we're reclassifying or changing, to fit the budget, I think that's a board decision
Yeah.
to make those changes.
And I categorize everything how I think,
Yeah.
where it fits. We could take that whole 6,000 and put it in the events, and we would be under budget. Like, we didn't
Yeah.
move it to make it fit the budget.
No, and
I just did it so where it should be, in my opinion.
I agree with you, I'm just, you know, but my thing is, if that's where it should be, then that's where it should be. I mean,
Yeah.
we're over budget. But if any of those items, you know, should be down in I guess that's where I'm struggling a little bit, is like, where's the drill down? Like, to be able to say, you know, the micro projects for, I mean, I guess there's only 4 or 5, but is there any sort of reporting we can get of what's filing in under these categories?
Going forward, if you look at the report that, now that we have it updated, you have who it was spent with and what it's categorized. So you can see it every month on this board packet.
Where is,
Yeah.
let's find the page.
But are you looking more of like a year-to-date one? Because I think, that one is just the
Yeah,
current
monthly.
month.
The current month, I think, is fine, because we would have
Okay.
checked it the previous month.
Yeah.
Well, I
Now
think
you-
that's where we're running into an issue, is that since September, really, a lot of these numbers are moving and are changing. And, you know, community promotions is there now. It wasn't that I could find, it wasn't there in August. So to me, I'm just trying to follow what changed, what moved, so that I'm confident in approving the next, you know, the checks or whatever. I mean, I'm sure we're putting things in the right spot, but we're putting that onus on us as board members to do our due diligence, to look through the packet, do our homework, make sure we understand it, and approve it. And it's not a question of, did somebody do something wrong?
Right.
Or did somebody put something or is hiding something? It's just to understand and make sure we know where it's at, and then great, you know, we can move forward. But looking from, like I said, September to now, seems to me that from what I could see in the packets that are online and what I have at home, they're just different. There's different lines, and that may be just where we consolidated things.
did, yep.
But I can't find where those numbers are A plus B equals C.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like A plus B minus D, you know? So I'm just trying to make sure I understand.
Yeah, and then my other item is if it's something we can even receive. But if things are reclassified, like, so if we vote on this today, right? And so my understanding is this is it, and this is what we voted on. If after, and again, not saying that it's not an accurate change, but if after the fact we look and say, oh, you know what, this should have been moved here, this should have been moved there, then what we approved
Yeah,
is
we're not
changing.
moving money, just to
I
be
know.
clear.
No, I know that.
We're just simply giving it a description.
Yeah.
And putting it under that bucket of what. So we're not changing anything that was approved by the board
But
as
it
far
could
as
be
money.
changing where it's falling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
I'm
my-
saying, so I would just like to be able to know if today we approve this, right? I'm gonna use the micro money just for, it's an easy one. We say, okay, yeah, we're good, we all approve. Well, to find out next month or in 2 months, oh, you know what, that really should have been under this one. Accurate, but I think we should know that that change has been made,
okay.
is my
And just
thought.
on like how I'm voting and what I'm looking at, if I'm voting on us doing a project or giving funds, and I see we only have 20% left in that line item, I might say no. That might be a reason I say no.
Yeah.
If that's incorrect and we come to find out the next month, oh shoot, we should have put it here, we find that out, great. Now we might be able to vote yes on that. That's just how I'm looking at it and how that vote happens for me.
And I honestly hope, like, going forward, that it's going to be a lot less difficult, because I was able to figure out QuickBooks and know that now I have to go in and I have to assign these. I was thinking these reports were coming from the bank account, so I
Right.
wasn't going into QuickBooks and correcting the stuff and updating it. And going forward, you guys are gonna have a lot more consistency. And I'll make a note, if something does change, to just let you guys know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are really good points.
So community promotions, for example, the one expenditure is for the Chamber of Commerce for 215. What is that?
That was us participating in their Emma Awards,
Oh, okay,
and where we nominated one of our businesses and presented a trophy. We had to pay for tickets.
okay,
That, to me, is
got it.
community.
Just understanding what
Yeah.
those items are. Okay, cool.
And what did that go under?
Community promotions.
Okay.
So we're promoting the DDA.
Only because the lady at home is gonna ask me about that one.
So I guess my biggest questions is, and just, it could simply be, Daniel, point me in the right direction, and I'll go look it up myself. I don't want anybody to do any extra work, it's just for my peace of mind, is the community promotions, when that started, and the CBD events, when, and the micro events, when that became $1,500. I just don't see it physically, I don't see it. We don't have to do it right now, somebody can show me it later,
Okay.
great. I just can't follow the path, so. But otherwise, I'm happy to make a motion to approve the financials.
I second it.
Who seconded? Putnick?
Me.
And let's have a roll call on that.
Yep. Me, Putnick. All right, Lee,
Me, yes.
Putnick,
Yes.
St. Laurent,
No.
no. Stevens,
Yes.
Van Wormer,
Yes.
Oswald.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. On to, we have no funding request this evening. Okay. We'll go on down to committee reports. The Employment Committee.
All right, let me just pull my notes up here. Hang on one sec. So the Employment Committee met last week, this week? It's all blending, to be honest with you. but
Friday.
Friday, okay. So we met and we had a discussion on, essentially what our Employment Committee was created for, what we've done in the past, the importance of consistency year over year for the employees and for the board. So when we met, the last time the Employment Committee met, to do an evaluation, we had communicated with our attorneys at that time, and essentially they were following kind of the process that they had laid out for us as a committee. So we have a evaluation that the board will receive in the next 24 hours, should be out to everybody by tomorrow. We're asking that the board complete the evaluation process within 7 days. Upon completion, the Employment Committee will consolidate and come up with the average scores for each category, and be able to present at the February board meeting with recommendation. Kathy will present the evaluation results and recommendations to Kay at the February meeting. So this is an area that was up for discussion last time. We didn't discuss with the attorneys. So employee evaluations are in public. If you would like to request closed session, that's your choice. We can't request it for you. And that was something that came up with our previous employee. You're more than welcome to do so if you would like to. We just can't make it happen without you requesting it. You will also be, with your evaluation, you're gonna be receiving the action items that were set for Kay. So when you're completing your evaluation, you want to evaluate off of what she was asked to do, so that way it's consistent and fair. And then, so in February, we should be able to wrap it up. Our recommendation in February's time, whatever that is based on the scores, will be to, any sort of recommendation will be suggested to be prorated because it should have happened in November. So that is the process that we have in place. That's the process that was approved. You will also get one to do a self-evaluation as well, so it's going to be consistent. Everyone's responding and reporting on the same items.
You're sending that out tonight?
Should be out tonight, if not first thing tomorrow morning, but you'll get it within 24 hours of today. And then I, again, just ask the board, please get them in as quick as possible. We want to make sure that we're fair to Kay to get her a review and get her all of her information. If someone chooses not to, which we had this situation last time, they choose not to, we go with who completed them. Because I don't want you to have to wait longer and longer and that sort of thing. So
Because once they come back, we have to meet again.
Yeah, we have to have another meeting. We want to do it before February so that we can consolidate and give our recommendations. So that's our committee report.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, good job. All right. I'll respond to the bylaws, policies, and procedures. We're meeting on January 14th at 4:30. Myself, Danielle, Marty, and Tom, and we can meet at the DDA office. That's okay with everybody? Tom, good? Okay, we're looking. All right, moving on to parking. Well, Megan isn't here, but Kay, would you like to update us
Sure.
on the parking?
So Megan sent out an email to the group of everyone who had raised their hand and wanted to participate in this go-round. And then she essentially handed it off to Nolan Care, who's now going to be the lead on this parking committee. He has set up our meetings, which will be, I think it's every Wednesday, or
Third Wednesday of the month.
third Wednesday of each month. And so our first one will be this month. And that's where we stand.
Okay, all right, on to unfinished business. Okay, I'll let you handle that, RFQs.
RFQs, so I am diligently working on these RFQs. I think the holidays really put a wrench in people getting back to me, so in order for us to have 3 quotes to review and make good decisions, I'm gonna give it another month. So that's where we are on that. The visitor guide brochures, we are finalizing the design with Giordano Graphics, specifically the wayfinding map. And once that is complete, we'll probably pass this once more through the board just to see feedback, make sure everybody likes the layout and the map and all of that, and then we can go to print. The wayfinding and attraction strategy, so the MDOT deadline is February 17th. SIMCOG deadline is June of this year. I did have another call with MDOT recently and sent them the final conceptual plans and cost analysis. And through that conversation, they did an internal pre-review and let us know that they feel the signage is more decorative than it is for public safety or mobility, and that the TAP grant is probably not the right resource for that project. So we will be going back to the drawing board to come up with alternate grant opportunities. Again, tossing up private funding opportunities and maybe even finance opportunities for that project.
Did they indicate what would make it more safety or more mobility focused?
So 2 of the main things were the signage would need to be reflective, right? So that's kind of a standard for safety, and it couldn't be our colors, so.
What color did it need to be?
Probably state colors.
They want to see a blue or a green, basically. They don't want, you know, that's what they're looking at.
You want it to look like one of the visitor signs.
Yeah, instead of more Romeo branded, more highway. So,
Okay.
we'll be working on some alternate grant. I have one on my desk right now that I haven't reviewed yet, but it may be a possibility. And again, we'll make it happen. It's just not gonna be this source. A lot of the municipalities in the past couple of years have gotten projects like this done through MDOT and SIMCOG, but it was the RAP program, and that one has been sunset. So, kind of a door shut there. But I do have another meeting with SIMCOG. I will go over it with them to get their perspective and their feedback. Both of these groups have said, though, that they are very interested in the streetscape project.
Right.
So that is what I'm working on right now, are the applications for that. We have our best opportunity with TAP funding for that project.
Is there a way to, you talked about private funding. If there's multiple businesses, whether they're in the DDA district or not, that come forward and say, hey, we want to help pay for this.
Yep.
can we add a plaque to the bottom of, one of those signs? Is that something that we would
For sure.
entertain, or?
I think that it's a good proposal, and I'll be working on it.
Okay.
The way I envision private funding is doing a campaign and actually having, a solid
Sure.
plan that you can go out then to the businesses and say, do you want to be an investor? Would you support downtown Romeo?
Yeah,
And that's the way to do it, so it's a project.
okay.
But when I get that ready, I'll certainly pass it by the board, get feedback before we do anything on that part. But, and also, we've been having conversations, I know Kathy has, had conversations with the bank on bond opportunities and financing too.
Cool.
So what I'd love to do is get all of those options together and then see what you guys think. Okay. Moving forward, CBD dumpster corral project.
Did
I-
we, did multimodal streetscape project?
Oh, yeah, so we have scheduled a town hall. That is going to be March 25th at 6 PM at the Masonic Temple. As I mentioned, I'll be working on the grant deadline for SIMCOG, which is February 17th, so that's in the works. But we'll be hopefully working together closely over the next couple months to put that town hall together. Giffords Webster is going to be leading that, but we'll want to provide, drinks and logistics, right? So
Sure.
we'll be planning.
I'm happy to help with that, Kay, if there's any,
I love that.
if there's anything that you need. Because
Yes.
it's on my calendar, I have it,
What day is that? I'm sorry.
March
25th.
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 And thank you to Masonic Temple.
I know, and honestly, we need to use them more, because not only. Yeah, I know, it's not only a great space, but the pricing and the availability and location, like,
Location is,
yeah,
Just not on Thursdays.
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Not on Thursdays.
Yes.
I like Wednesday, that's good.
so we have opportunities this year for this, the town hall. We have, hopefully, if we get the grant for the playscape, we'll be doing, meetings for that, so,
Yeah, and it's accessible,
yeah,
whether the ramp, in the back,
yeah,
so, cool.
love it. Great idea, Danielle.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, moving forward for the CBD dumpster corral project. I did receive a second quote over the weekend. I initially only had the Giffords Webster when I sent the packet out. So the two quotes that I received, one from McKenna for $21,500, and the second Giffords Webster was $29,800. They pretty much mirror each other. They're both highly reputable companies. So.
Is
and
this one, sorry, is this for one corral?
Yes, it's for the conceptual designs.
Oh, this is to come up with the engineering and the conceptual design. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, so they'll help us with everything from zoning ordinances, health department, conceptual designs, all of that. And we do have the budget for it. I think maybe we wait until Megan can join next month to discuss it further. But we do have the money under professional services available. If it's-
Giffords Webster won't give us a little bit extra deal for the last project?
All we got was cookies.
Repeat customer, we don't get like a little extra deal?
You know,
That's kind of what I was thinking. No
sometimes,
Frequent buyer.
sometimes, and what I've learned through bidding and things like that, is sometimes they will purposely make something higher just because they don't have the capacity or,
They don't want to
You-
do
Or
it.
they don't want to.
right, they gave us a quote because
Yeah.
they like us, but, in all fairness, like I said, McKenna is a great company, and they would do a good job.
I was just thinking that the dumpster corrals might align with what they're already doing with streetscape.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They're kind of,
yeah.
I mean, I know they're not on the street, they're on the sidewalk,
Right.
but,
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question on dumpster corrals. So this is not something that was originally in our budget for this year as a project?
No.
So my concern looking at, like, we've got We have a lot of things happening. And I'm just afraid that we may spread ourselves thin on completing some of our focused items.
Yeah.
Because we're taking on some of these additional, the corrals. It's a great project, absolutely, but we're still trying to get all these other things to happen.
And I will
As it
say,
stands-
I did ask that we get some pricing for this, and the whole reason that I did was to have some idea of how much is this going to even cost? There's a lot of discussion about, we need dumpster corrals, we need something, we need to do something. Do we even have the budget to do it? Is
Yeah.
this something that the DDA can even do? Is this something that
Right.
it's 2 years down the road? Is this something that the village is going to share cost on?
They actually have,
did.
Megan reached out to me on this project.
Yeah,
She said that they have budgeted funds specifically for this item.
okay,
And so they would be covering the cost of the project. Our investment was the design services.
okay,
Because we have those funds in professional services,
sure,
we can't use those funds now to go put a sign in the ground
Sure.
or do a sidewalk project.
yeah.
It's just for that type of work.
Right, and
Well,
I would say that if, I would still like to see some shared cost in, a little bit in the professional services as well, because again, we have a small budget, maybe we want to do something else with the professional services, not just this whole
Well,
chunk.
yeah, and I would say too, do we want to put out $20,000 to $30,000? One, if we don't have buy-in from the village, that they're gonna do something
For
with it,
sure.
right? We've had
Right.
that issue
For sure.
in the past, so we've now put out $20,000 to $30,000 and that's money gone, right? And now in 6 years, we're saying, well, these are old RFQs that we're looking at, can't use them anymore.
Right.
That was just money spent.
Right.
And then my other question is, and I understand what you're saying where it's earmarked, but if we can make, a budget adjustment, maybe we pull that money
Sure.
from here and move it somewhere that's gonna move forward some of our actual plans that we've already committed to. I'm just afraid that we're
Sure.
committing to multiple things.
Yeah.
Without, that's a lot of money to me, to get a plan, and if that's what it costs, that's what it costs. I'm not arguing that
Right.
part of it. But now we've put out $20,000 to $30,000 and what we've got is a plan, but what we've got is a lot of plans.
Yeah.
Because we keep paying for plans.
Right,
But
right.
we've never taken these plans to fruition and actually getting these things happening.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Andrea, totally, and that's why I was saying that if the village shares in this cost and has some bite in it, it's not just the DDA putting out that money, it's, it's a shared
And some
cost.
commitment that it's gonna happen.
Right,
I know.
Right,
Right.
so, that, like I said, I feel,
because I know there is quite a bit of money, what Kay is saying, that is available, and they can only use it on garbage sanitation. So it's not like they could move it to somewhere
Right.
else.
but we need that commitment.
Exactly.
From them.
I would feel exactly the
Yeah.
same way.
And I think just as a DDA board, there's a million things we can do, right? There's so many different projects that we could take on. I'm just afraid that it feels to me, and through no fault of our own, and through no fault of anybody's, it's just the way things work. I feel like we're paying for a lot of plans, but none of these plans are going to the next step of actually happening. So maybe we want, and I'm not saying that this isn't valuable or we shouldn't do it, but I kind of getting a little bit of the feeling myself that before we continue to get RFQs for different projects, maybe we should circle back to our original core projects. Let's push those through. Let's put our money and our efforts there. And then potentially revisit these, because again, we've got a lot of plans, but we don't have any completed.
Which is good
projects.
too, also though, because we do get these grant opportunities that pop up that are very specific. And if you're not shovel-ready, then you miss the opportunity. And that was very painful last year,
Yeah.
because we did miss a lot of opportunities that were so easy that we could have had, but we just didn't have the project put together.
No, and
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you there, and I think that's important. And on the flip side, we've had situations where we're going back to studies and reports that were done, and now the new response is, well, this is so old, this isn't even valid anymore. So are we gonna, if the if this isn't gonna happen in the next 48 months, are we putting out $21,000 that we're gonna turn around this time next year and say, well, it's time to get a new RFQ because
Right.
whatever has happened and it's changed? So that's just kind of my thoughts on
Yeah.
it is, should we maybe pull back a little bit and put our efforts into getting all these other projects done? Let's start crossing some stuff off the
Well,
list. would
those are
how-
gonna be, the timeline isn't gonna change because of $20,000.
True.
Like, we have a 5-year plan, and we are committed to getting these projects done in that 5 years.
But.
And it
in
may
essence-
take 3 to 5 years,
And I,
right?
no, and I
Yeah.
totally understand that. I feel, we approve a lot of plans. And I just would like to start seeing that now we've got the plans, everything, it all looks wonderful, we all agree on it. And then it feels like everything kind of just
Yeah.
stops there.
I see
I
your
think
point.
if-
No, I think
know-
you bring up, I think you bring up a really good point. Like, we do have a lot of plans going out, and they are 3 to 5 years. But at the same time, too, and I think just because of things that have happened in the past, and when we've gone in with the village council,
I would like to see them take a
Yeah.
little bit more initiative.
I think we
before-
take the initiative,
Mhm.
it seems like, and
We
I
don't
mean,
have,
we-
we
we
don't
wanna
have the
move it
we have the
forward.
budget to do the plans, we don't have the budget to finish these projects on our own.
Right,
Right.
and
So
so
in-
do we wanna spend 20 X number of dollars
right,
without a commitment
Mhm.
Yeah.
that it's gonna go anywhere?
yeah.
And
I
again,
would-
we bought another set of plans.
No, no, no.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
all we keep
No,
doing.
I
I
think
think
you-
if they went in
yeah.
on cost share for the plans, and then when the project itself was finished, we go back and give back the other half of the plan cost, that would be one thing, to just make sure the project actually got finished. But to
Yeah,
buy
that's not a
plans,
bad idea.
and then
Yeah.
I like
sit
that
on
idea.
plans,
Yeah,
like, because they change their mind, or they figure out they don't have money, or whatever, we just, like you said, spent this money. I think if we went halvesies on it, and then when the project was actually done,
We're happy to
pay the
into it,
rest, yeah.
I like that idea. I just, like I
I
said,
do
I feel like we've got
Mhm.
a lot of expensive plans.
And a lot of signatures that need to happen.
Yes.
but then we could take
Yeah.
that money, put it
Towards
away,
something else.
Yeah.
and have it accrue
Working
interest,
towards
is
something
right,
else, right?
and then,
Because I
right.
do think that this
I-
falls within our strategic plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, again, for us, we're in a hard spot, because again, we don't have that
Yeah, we
big
can't finish
budget.
it.
We can initiate some of these projects that do fall under the strategic plan, but it has to happen in collaboration.
Yeah,
Or
we gotta
it's
know
never
someone's
gonna
gonna
happen,
take it
yeah,
home,
exactly.
You know, because otherwise, I would then, if there's not that buy-in, I would rather, and granted, and I agree, it doesn't compare to streetscape pricing, but I would still rather take $20,000 and say, well, move that over to help the streetscape project move
Right.
forward,
Right.
if that's something that. we
Put
can
one
actually
sign in
do.
the ground or something.
Yeah, at least start that project.
Okay, we got one done.
Yeah, see you next month.
No.
But yeah, that's my concern.
No,
I
you bring
think-
up I think you bring up a very valid point with that, and we do have, I feel like you do, like, we're always, okay, we want
And then
to
it's a
help,
case of,
and then it's like,
oh, no, we just bought the plans. It's like, oh, damn.
Okay.
Right? Like,
All right.
we gotta
No.
move forward. So that would be my thing,
Yeah,
is if the
I think-
village is willing to
mhm,
truly, I like the half idea,
mhm,
and truly commit to spending that money.
mhm.
And I think that, them having to put $10,000 to $15,000 up front would show their commitment to it. We
Right.
just go and buy a set of plans and.
No,
I like
think
that.
that's-
I like
We bought a
that.
set of plans, and that's all we've got.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like once it's done, pay the other.
Yeah, we're happy
Yeah.
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
I just think that's very fair, especially considering, like,
it's very fair.
you know, like, we can't take, if they don't decide to pick this project up, we can't finish it.
Right.
Mhm.
And so then to go in on the trust me, we'll do it, I
Yeah.
feel
Or
like
thanks
that's.
for the plans, we'll put it on
Yeah,
the shelf.
yeah, we'll, and maybe in the
Yeah.
next couple of years,
Yeah.
okay.
So it just sounds like we need to sit down and meet with them and develop the plan and then move from there.
Well, I think we
because
need to
us
get their buy-in first.
talking-
Yeah, get their
Yeah.
buy-in,
So-
yeah.
I'll send the quotes over to Megan and have her present it at
Yeah.
her meeting.
And then if they make a motion at their board to agree to.
Then we
a
can move
split,
forward,
Then we
yeah.
can say, okay, we've got the commitment, they're
Yeah.
putting in half of it. Because the other thing I think we have to be careful with, which we've learned from different projects in the past, is at the end of the day, it's their property, right? So even if we had the money, even if we had the money to put corrals on
Yeah.
city property, it's not our property. And we can have a situation where, you know, the village council says, you know, that's not what I envisioned it looking like. We don't approve you to put them out there. And we now have just dropped $200,000 on a project that is, so we have to have their buy-in.
For sure.
And it has to be them that actually spends the money and makes it happen, because it's their property. We can't just go and put stuff on other people's property with a hope that they're gonna be okay with it,
Right.
as we've learned. So I think we need that buy-in.
Yep. All good thought, very good.
Awesome. Okay,
Playscape.
the Village Park Playscape project. So, the final paperwork was submitted, I'm hoping, by the village. It was due at the end of December, and we should hear by the end of January if we receive the grant, so that we can move forward. That's where we
And
stand.
has the board, again, the village council board, acknowledged by motion of their board that they are okay with, once this has been purchased, that it is going on their property?
So where we stand today is, we had to get their buy-in to fill out the paperwork and submit it. That's all we have right now. Once we hear that we are recipients of this grant, then we put together, with Kaboom, in conjunction with them, a design plan, and that will go before the council for approval.
So there is a possibility that we could have to go back to the grant
Yeah.
and say it wasn't approved, we're
And return
turning
the
down the
money.
grant.
Yes. I mean, it is what it is. The good news is, this is 100% grant. We're not putting any money towards it.
Right, I'm just afraid it may give us a
But-
little bit of a black eye the next
It
time
wouldn't
we
be
go.
us. It wouldn't be us. If we got the grant and then they said
We did the
no,
good work.
Then
But
they
who's
would,
who's the grant going to, the village or to the DDA?
The grant isn't going anywhere. Kaboom, how they work is they cover the project.
and then
So-
the grant pays.
Yeah.
Kaboom.
Right, they don't give
Yeah.
us the money, they complete the
But
project.
who's requesting the grant?
We did, the
We are.
VDA. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, so that's kind of just something that like, I just, you know, I hate to get in a
It is what it
situation, I
is.
mean, it is what it is, I
Yeah.
understand that. I'm just saying, I hate to get in a situation where I come and I ask you for money and you agree to it, and then I have to come back and say, we don't need it after all, or we're not gonna take it. I just don't want their view to be that, you know,
Well, but our hands are tied.
I agree,
yeah.
I'm
Like,
not disagreeing with you.
they would
I'm
have
just-
to be the ones to answer for what would be the logical reason to refuse something for the community, like,
But they're not gonna have
escape.
to answer to the grant people, they're gonna.
not to the grant
They're
people,
only gonna
but
have
to
to
the
answer if someone asks.
community.
If someone asks a
You know.
question, yeah. No, I'm just saying, that's just a concern, is I hate to request money and get it approved, and then,
I think the only
I
thing I
know,
would,
but if we proceed with that kind of thought, we won't ever,
this is true.
I agree.
I think it
Yeah.
maybe just checking out, like, working with government grants before, is there a penalty for returning a grant? So sometimes they say you can't apply for another 3 years, another 5 years. Maybe just so that we have all of the information, just make sure that there isn't a penalty for returning a grant or not using a grant.
yeah.
yeah.
It
That's a
would
good
make
question.
sense to me that there should be.
Yeah,
But
a lot of times
there should be
there
a
is.
fine from the person that's giving you the money, that they went through the effort to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn around with an outside party, which would be the council, and they tell you can't. I find that that's annoying, and it's dangerous, I think, because, you know, what's the point in even trying to improve anything if you're always gonna have that cloud over your head?
Well, and
Well-
I think,
So,
I agree, and I think unfortunately, I mean, and I don't even wanna say like as a negative, you know, at the end of the day, it isn't our property, so we really have to, as much as we can, and I know we can't 100%, I'm not putting that on you to make that happen, but everything the DDA tries to do is at the peril of the village council approving it. So the more buy-in we can get before we put our efforts and our work and our steps out there, is to benefit. I mean, again, we can buy plans every day of the week. We could spend our entire $300,000 budget on plans. If the council does not buy in and commit to these things, it puts us in,
Well, what's the point to have a DDA then?
well,
I mean, if you can't, with the collection of people we have at this room, who, entrepreneurial spirits, love to see the beautification of a community, and somebody's just got a Jones on it when it goes to council, and they tell you no, I mean, that's like having a kid go to college for 4 years, grade A student, but you're not qualified for this job. I mean,
but I agree, but Tom, it's happened.
Yeah.
I know, and I
So I'm
just,
just saying, so how
well,
do
I
we
just-
protect in the future?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's learn from
Yeah.
that situation.
anything we
DDA
do, as far as I'm concerned, as a DDA board, is a benefit to the community, to the people's homes value, to everything up and down the line. So for anybody to nail it on the council, I would just, I'm like, well, what's the point?
I think the only thing we
You
can do,
know?
it's no different than when you give somebody a gift. Like, you might intend them to use it a certain way, it doesn't mean that they have to do it. I think if we have to proceed with our plan to improve the community and the businesses in the community for everybody. And if it keeps being obvious that we're shut down, then that's when we have to look to the community to kind of be like, what's the justification for saying no to something like this? Like,
Yeah,
we
we'll
just
put
have
you-
to proceed as we would if it would be to be approved, and just kind of hope that it falls into place, or hope that eventually people start showing up to the meetings, asking questions like, tell me why we couldn't have a playscape, or, something like that.
Yeah.
We
Well,
just,
but again, just feel the repercussion, okay? Well, the business owners, okay? They're paying their taxes for this, for the DDA. And if an outside source, again, let's say it's a killer idea and everybody knows that it is gonna improve the community and everything else. And then again, I know I'm repeating myself, but man, that's a tough road to follow when you gotta say, Mother, may I? I mean, seriously?
But we do. I mean, and I hear what you're saying.
But we're the ones that are the creators of the beautification. That's why I look at this board. I don't know about anybody else, but that's why I look at this board.
But we have to make, and I agree with you. I'm with you.
So how
100%.
can one body, or, I mean,
Well, just
it'd
like,
have to be a hell of a good explanation as to why it would be a bad problem.
well, but that's the thing though, Tom, with all fairness, you would hope it would be a great explanation.
Right.
My concern is it doesn't have to be,
Right.
right? Someone can make a motion, and if the vote is a no, it's a no. They don't
Yeah.
have to answer to that.
Yeah.
Now granted, if people would show up and ask us questions, that would be beautiful, right? We would
Yeah.
see that. And I understand the process of it. I'm just saying, it would make me feel more comfortable in a perfect world, right? If we knew that the board is aligned and is, so far, if we can get any sort of agreement.
Well, they did vote to proceed with,
So that's a
That's a
good
first-
sign, right?
first
That's a good
step.
sign. Yeah, again, I just protecting the DDA, again, I just don't want the DDA to be
I know.
a plan buying board. Because at the end of the day, it's not our property, and we learned that lesson. So we need to make sure that when we are going to do a project as great as it is, that there is a board of elected people who have the final say. And I think it's our job to, and I'm not putting it all on Kay, I think it's all of our jobs, to communicate with the board and start to get their buy-in and say, hey, you know what, this is what the DDA is working towards.
Yeah.
Do you see any weird hiccups with it? Is there any way you wouldn't be able to vote for this going forward? I think that's on all of us. I'm not putting on you to solve that issue.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, when it gets to the village council board table, they vote. They don't have to explain their vote. In a perfect world, they would. But I just want to be careful that we're just not buying plans for someone else to yay or nay. So the more communication, the more buy-in. I know you're going to the meetings and everyone's communicating. I think that is all working towards that goal.
Yeah, I just want the board, I would want the council to see that this group of people has a solid intent to perform and to succeed.
Absolutely.
And
So I think-
to have things get in the way that would actually hurt our progress, that's bad. I mean, because this group knows what we need to do. But if somebody on the board or whatever, you know, that may not have the same expertise that we have, because we've been doing this for so many years. And I'm not trying to sound arrogant, okay? It's just, if I could get a quick analogy, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So when they say yes, go for it. Don't get in my way. That's the next thing I very lovingly, as a DDA member, would say to the council, okay, we're gonna make this happen for you, and you're gonna love it.
And I agree
But
with
don't stop me in the middle of my run after we get going on a
And
project.
Andrea, I think I agree with you, what you're saying too, because they could say yes,
And then they can say no.
and then they could
Bingo,
say no.
and that's the
Because,
issue.
because we've seen that
That's-
happen with parks.
Yeah.
You know, yes, continue, this sounds great, and then no, we're not gonna be
So,
part of
and
it.
in all reality, what's the point of having the board?
So I
mean,
guess,
if
you know,
you
my,
can't, you know,
My
I think
point
we
is there's
should,
nothing
you know,
we
the
can do.
friendship meetings that we have, I think is a good start. And from there, I think we need to just find a positive way to work together, you know, pull a couple members from the council, have them join that committee, and we'll just all work on it together.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
We
way to
have-
make it work. We just have to, I think, instead of talking down, let's talk it up.
Well, that's what I'm
Oh,
saying, I
yeah.
think the more we continue to build, and I think that we, you know, we need to,
Like you said, the communication,
we
like,
need to gain the
And that's where we
trust and the
gain,
respect
right.
of
And
the
I think we
council.
I guess
have
the
it.
simplest way to say it is we live here, we work here, why would we want to present something to you that would be a failure?
Right, we just
I
need to
agree.
draw them in to the project a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Right.
And again, that's what I'm saying, is just the commitment from them, that if we're going to spend money on this program,
Right.
tell us now, right? Like, that's kind of my
Yeah.
thing, is tell me now.
Yeah,
There is
yeah.
no way in heck we wanna do that. Okay, then we'll find another project that you do agree to. But I just don't wanna kind of be spinning our wheels and.
No, that's a great suggestion. I
Yeah.
mean, because then you know up front somebody's got, you know,
Yeah.
got an issue
And like
with
with
it.
Playscape, okay, I'm gonna
Right.
take their fact of us telling us to move forward as a positive, right?
Right. Don't hit me after the fact.
Right.
That's the killer.
And don't say yes,
And-
yes, yes, and then say no.
well, at the next joint meeting, we should hopefully get the feel.
Yeah,
So
I
you
think
guys
we should
probably
talk
thought I
about
was
it
just
more
gonna
with
say I've
them.
been
Definitely
quiet
talk
all day,
about it.
so
You
I
know, we
kinda
need to
fooled
work
y'all, huh?
together, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Mrs. Stevens is watching, so I'll be critiqued when I get home. Anyway, thank you for letting me
That-
share that.
Yeah,
That's my.
thank you.
Okay.
All
All
right.
good stuff, all good stuff.
Okay, good stuff, yes. Okay, on to new business. We have the meeting calendar for 2026 for the board.
Make a motion to approve the meeting calendar for
I second.
2026.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right. Next, 2026 action plan.
Okay, so, last year we met as a board to create this 5-year strategy, right? From there, we had guidance putting together our 2025 action plan from a consultant, POW Strategies. And that is what I worked off from this year, right? These are our tasks and our actions to work towards this strategy. For 2026, I would love input from the board on things to add, things that we can tweak, ideas, all of that. So I'm providing my copy of the strategy so that you can go through it and review it, and we can continue this conversation, because this is what I need to do my job. So, take the time to review it, send me your thoughts, send me your ideas. I don't think that we need to have a special meeting and go through, we didn't last year. I think the strategy is what we approved and we know and what we live by, so, just take that information and give me your input. That way I have a solid plan.
Okay,
Sound good?
sounds good. All right, moving on to public forum. If anybody would like to comment on anything we've talked about this evening. Okay, Good, all right, Kay, your
Oh,
report?
look, I'm like packing up home.
Not yet, girl.
Okay, so my report for December, basically, still doing business outreach, still planning one-on-ones with business owners. Events last month, besides the board meetings and the BOT meeting, we had, the State of Macomb County address. That was really awesome. I love going there every year. It just pumps me up. That was awesome. The Emma Awards for the Northern Macomb Chamber of Commerce. We were able to award John and Julie Rose of Main Street and Downtown Pretzel Company their second award for the year. So that was a lot of fun. I did attend the MEDC Partner Luncheon. And then I also had a one-on-one with Chuck, the new executive director at Imlay City DDA. And through that, got put into kind of a collective of DDA directors that we meet once a month. So I think it'll just be good to bounce things off of each other and have those relationships. Outside of that, we've already covered the grants that I'm working on. I did complete the impact report. The social media continues to grow. I continue to update the website. That's an ongoing project. The shopping and dining guides, continue to work on those. Those are just about done. And RFQs. That's pretty much my December.
Okay. All right. Moving on, board member comments. Tom?
Happy New Year, everybody. Everybody have a good one. I know I'm busy already. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. Hopefully everybody had a good holiday and, looking forward to seeing what projects we can get done this year.
Same, I hope everyone had great Christmas and New Year's. I think we had a good meeting today. We covered a lot of stuff. I thank you, Danielle, for providing some clarification and some additional reporting for us, and,
Okay, so I don't know how to word this, but I'm just gonna find a way to, it really upsets me. I get really discouraged when we talk about other board members in such a negative way. I think, let's talk positive, let's talk it up, let's figure out a way to work together. I don't know, we're all a community, and I don't know, I really get bothered by that. Good job, Kay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, Danielle, thank you for coming. I appreciate you taking the time. I know positive collaboration works best when all perspectives can be heard, even if they don't align. So I appreciate taking the time to hear everybody out and understand everybody's perspective, because that's what makes these projects move forward. So thank you.
Okay. Well, I would like to wish everybody also Happy New Year, and I want to thank the Employment Committee for taking time out of your holiday schedule to meet and do that, and looking forward to helping out with that when we get the information. I think it was a really good meeting. I think we covered a lot of great information, a lot of good viewpoints here. Thank you, Danielle, again, and those of you that have to join us this evening. Thank you. And with that, a motion to adjourn.
We have, so we had a couple sign-ins. We have a gift certificate for one of you,
Oh.
2 lucky winners.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Huh? Woo-hoo. You wanna draw one?
You're fine.
what is it?
It's a number. They signed in.
Can we do this?
Why not?
I don't know. Are we giving? I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm gonna let you have someone else.
Oh my
I'm not
God.
sure that we can do that.
Can you draw a number? Okay.
What is the gift certificate?
It's a
Get
gift
four.
certificate to Four Corners Diner.
So Marty's
$10.
doing this on her own.
I am donating a gift certificate.
Well,
Thank you
that's
for
very kind.
attending.
That's very
Um,
kind.
Kevin, number 2.
Yeah.
Kevin,
All right.
All right.
this is not a bribe to attend, this is
Yeah, it is.
Well,
Yeah, I think we need to be careful.
I
I
mean,
just want to take the opportunity to meet with people that I haven't met over the years.
Yes.
it was nice that you,
Yeah, nothing is purchased through the DDA, it's all through donations.
yeah, okay. With that, a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a
Yes.
motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do I get to take?